Not sure about Ben. We were working late last night, and
Yeah.
we're trying to get a server up to our data center that we're trying to put together, and run into some problems as usual on it. So always the case. New equipment.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he and I were chatting last night. I don't. For the conversation I had with him last night, he was going to sleep in this morning.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
My first call started at 6:30. I don't really end until about 1 today. So
Okay.
coffee is an imperative.
Yeah, I never got into drinking coffee, even in the Navy. I do tea.
Okay, well, there you go. I do about 4 of these a day, head for size here.
Wow.
Got to keep going somehow.
There you go.
Good morning, Xavier.
Morning. How's everyone doing?
So far, so good.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi, Rhett.
And here comes everybody. Good morning, all. Morning, Fred. Have you seen Ben? Oh, you're muted.
I saw him last night. Went to a classical music concert, but
oh, cool.
I'm sure he'll be there.
Yeah, I'm sure. We were trading messages. Pretty late. So I imagine he's rolling around. Yeah. All right, let me find our meeting agenda. Chris. Hey, Chris.
Hello, good morning.
I'm worried that he wasn't able to get up.
Ben?
Yeah.
Let me text him.
A few minutes.
Well, we've got a couple things we can talk about before he shows up. Although I don't see Doug. So that first item might be problematic. This might be a shorter meeting than we expected. Okay, give people about 2 more minutes to join. We'll get kicked off.
Ben's here.
Oh, yes. Cool. Nope. Okay.
Hey, Robert, that picture that's on the screen right now for me, that's what I call my field office. I'm on the back of one of our bulls. He's pretty tame. He's a Jersey bull, but he's tame.
It's the eco-friendly way of getting around the farm.
Yes.
Did you say you're on the back of a bull? Wayne?
Yeah, I'm resting on his back.
Does not seem safe.
We raised him from a pup.
Ah, okay.
Fred, did you say Ben was in? I don't see him.
I just talked to him 2 seconds ago.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, well, I guess we can kick off. Welcome, everybody, to the March BP meeting. Real quick on the governance side, we've been pushing the docs back and forth. There's been a limited amount of engagement in regards to the governance documents that Doug's been shepherding. Is there any additional feedback on those documents as they stand? Has everybody had a chance to read through them? They all look good to everybody. Like, where are we with folks' review? Silence is acceptance in this group. So
Now, I asked Jetse Sprij, our lawyer in the team, to have a look at it, but he was on holiday, so he hasn't been able to do it yet. So if we could have one more round, one more week, then I think he can have a look at it.
that's probably fine. There's one merge request outstanding, mostly around the minimum standards. I sent that in a couple days ago or late last week. It all blends together. So if you guys can take a look at the linked merge request here as well as reviewing, because we're there we go. It's on the meeting agenda. And actually, let me pop this into chat. No, that's it. No, I'll pop it in the chat later. If you guys take a look, the minimum standards have changed quite a bit, along with the actual timelines for recovery and minimum server allotments and things like that. So we'd love feedback on that. If there's anything you guys have to add, let me know. That was my merge request on those pieces. But what's in the repository plus the merge request is what's under review right now. I don't see Doug on, so I don't think he's going to be able to weigh in. Hey, Ben.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good evening.
Morning.
So you want to kick over into the code pieces, Ben?
Which code pieces?
We still have 3 things that are hanging out there. Is there any update in regards to what we're going to do as far as the 30 producers or the active? Thank you. The 30 producer schedule versus the 21 active at 6 standby. We seem to keep going back and forth on that. Is there?
I don't know. Yeah, it seems like people want to keep the 21 now. That's what I heard.
Okay.
Could I suggest something? I'm not saying to do like an actual DAO vote, but should we carry like a vote on the Telegram and see like where things are at? We can make it anonymous if people don't want to say who they are.
I mean, honestly, I think doing a DAO vote is very, very effective and good, because it's the best way to get a consensus from token weighted. You know, it's a good system. We should use it.
So for a proposal, should we? Let me think about this real quick. Are we putting out competing proposals? Are we?
I think it's like
putting it forth.
I mean, I don't know. I think. Why did I think that we weren't going to do this now? I don't remember.
Well, I think there needs to be some.
Oh, because of the governance docs.
Mm-hmm.
When we were discussing the governance docs, there was some discussion about 21 versus 30, but in the governance docs that we all basically agreed on, there's going to be 6 paid standby that are paid from the DAO. So it wasn't even a code thing.
Yeah, I mean, that was the original proposal. I think that there's been some conversation about how do you then figure out who those 6 standbys are, given that they're in standby based upon the vote. And so we went back and forth, and we were talking about the possibility of doing some sort of on block based on where you were in the schedule and crediting some level of payment. But we really haven't solidified on anything, right? There's a lot of ideas out there. If we're going to put this to a DAO vote, we need to figure out what we're going to be proposing.
Yeah, I don't know. Does anyone have thoughts on it?
I mean, there was only 2 ideas, either so it was 21 active or 30, right?
Right.
Well, then if it was only 2 ideas, we could just do that vote, and then people vote yes or no, and whatever takes place, then we go ahead with it. And it's not only BPs that are gonna vote; it's also the community that's gonna vote. So at the end of the day, like, everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because if we don't agree on the BP payment things, we can't merge the previous blue point, or they're not correlated, because
You're talking about the agreements?
yeah.
Well, I mean, right now the agreements show 21 plus 6, so 21 active and 6 standby.
So
but
then
of course, anything can be amended to what the will of everyone is.
Okay.
So I think it'd be good to really understand the pros and cons of this. Might be a good place to go with this, because there are some things this affects, like the finality as of right now.
Yeah.
Right, but do you think that it should, like, we would all be clear about what we want to vote on the next BP meetings, to just kind of touch briefly on it and then put it into a vote? Or are we gonna do the same thing that we've been doing for the past, I think it was 2 meetings so far, just so we can be a bit proactive and kind of figure that out and then move on to the next things? My opinion.
Yeah, I think we should have some discussion about it on Telegram. Maybe we could do a little poll on there. Sure, whatever you guys want to do.
Hey guys.
Hey, Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Joining from Reykjavik. So I am. So I sorry I was late. I think that what we should, if we're talking about how we should plan, how to move on this stuff, I think the first thing we should do is we should decide whether we're going to, what changes we want to make in those governance documents, and if everybody can deal with them as they are, then we should get those things. Finalized, and then we have someplace to start, and then we know where we're going from there, rather than taking polls and stuff like that. I mean, we can follow that up immediately with a DAO vote to ratify it as well. But we got to start somewhere, and I think we've been sort of sitting on those for a while, and we might as well just move forward with that, as or figure out what people need to be changed about it, and then make those changes and then move forward.
I'm okay writing up a proposal that as I understand what we've discussed thus far, wanted to do the 21 plus 6.
But one thing is that I understand that we don't have even 30 right now, and we don't have a benchmark tool so that we know if we have, or how much producers we have with good performance, right? And I think that this can be changed later, especially with IBC and instant finality and all that is being worked on Antelope. I don't know if we are adopting, but I understand that this tends to mitigate the problem with time to finality, and maybe this can be done later. I read the documents. I agree. I think that for me, we could go with the Douglas suggested documents. I also have no issue with yet having another week to read that, but I agree that it's important to move on those.
Yeah, you're right. We can always change it. Also, when instant fidelity becomes available, we can. That opens up new opportunities. I would say I'm of the mind of keep it simple, right? Like we currently have 21. There's nothing required to do. To change to do that. Why not, let's do something where we can get this get something done, and then we can move from there, improve from there.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too, Douglas.
Are there any votes against just putting this off until we have more validators that make sense, or when the new code updates come out?
One thought that comes to mind, Ben, is we can set up the Aloha EOS contract that does the CPU benchmarking for block production on the dashboard. So we can start to gather some of the data that's mentioned in the validator agreement. And I think that's also a prerequisite that we can definitely work on. We've done that before for other networks. So we can integrate that into the dashboard or the network monitor that we put together, and set up that contract and start tracking the CPU benchmarks.
Yeah, that would be super cool.
So one other thing that might be good to think about there too, Doug, you guys on Telos have a contract that keeps track of production on chain. So when people miss, that's actually recorded on chain. Is that a easily deployable contract? I.e., does it require a lot of additional deployments with other things that are part of Telos, or can it be pulled out and used independently?
Hang on, guys. I got to step away for 1 minute, and I'll be right back.
Okay. Anyway, Xavier, so if we have the ability to potentially other day. Oh, yeah, Igor, go ahead.
I think that change is on the main system contract on the producer pay function. Sorry, the on block function, because it's the only way that it's called every block, so it can check who is producing that. But besides that contract, I don't think it requires other things. I don't think it's require. Telos uses the vanilla software, doesn't need a different type of nodes, so it's just a contract. But it's the main USIO contract, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, Xavier. I think it's a good idea to get the.
But yeah, I think I agree. We should have something like that on chain. I like that.
Robert,
and the CPU benchmark as well.
Are you recording this meet?
I am. Yeah.
Okay, great.
And I'll publish it as soon as I can after the meeting. Okay, so Xavier, you'll look at the Aloha stuff.
Yes, we'll get that set up. We also have a missed blocks tracker, but it's not on chain. Basically, we're comparing schedules with actual results, right? So we're doing that off chain backend service. But potentially we can also look into missed blocks, missed rounds as well. It's just not a smart contract. It's all done.
Yeah, sorry, I'm back, guys. Yeah, we do have the missed block counter in Telos. It's not necessary. It's closer to a system contract, but we've been using it longer than the main Telos mainnet launch. It worked great. We developed it at Good Block. I don't still have the engineers who developed it, but it's pretty working with me. But it's really straightforward, but it is more than just like deploying a contract on top of things. It's more of like a system contract integration.
Okay.
But it's all open source, and it's certainly possible to bring that over from Telos.
Yeah, we put together the system contracts that are deployed currently, and would be happy to take a look at what Telos did and see if there's a possibility of migrating that towards Libre. Definitely agree, an on-chain solution is better than trusting some backend service that doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's done. It's tested almost 5 years of testing now. It works. And it's right there in the Telos code. So it's just a question of adopting it for our own as an on-chain solution.
Is that it's just in the basic Telos system contracts repository, or is it something separate?
Yeah, I believe it's in this Telos system contracts repository. I haven't touched it for 4.5 years, but it's right there. We can look at it. I can look it up in the repository. It's there. I can tell you where it's deployed and stuff, as we talk about it offline. But yeah, it's all there.
Okay.
There's nothing hidden.
All right. So I think we've covered off those pieces. I don't think we've got anything to talk about in regards to the vote weight update. Do we, Ben? No. Okay. Anything else on code updates, system contracts? Ben, how is the DAO? You're muted. You're still muted.
We can't hear you, Ben.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, we got to get the DAO perm too. We need to get that finalized and pushed across, but it might fail because there's something about the order of the permissions that are being set needs to be alphabetized potentially. Some kind of weird thing about that.
Just the update auth action, the accounts array needs to be alphabetically ordered, and we've got DAO Libre before EOSIO prods, or it's not alphabetically ordered. So I mentioned to Ben this might fail because that accounts array is not alphabetically ordered. So we may need to repropose that MSIG if it fails.
Yeah, that would be great to get done today. And just so everyone knows, I've written this a few times in the Telegram chat, but basically everything that happens in the DAO will really need a 2/3 plus 1 vote. So even if something passes, the validators will need to vote 2/3 plus 1 to either approve a proposal that's passed or cancel it. And that's basically a veto power. And that's how the DAO was originally designed. If there's any desire to change that, that can be changed. But that's the current setup. I think it's a good setup though. It's a bit of a check and balance. We don't really know how this is going to evolve. It's a little bit of a I don't know, if it becomes very busy, it might need to be changed. But as of right now, I think it would be fine. We could try to bulk them up. So do them once a month or something like that, as long as there's nothing urgent.
Deal. typically, we're getting paid. We can vote on these things. I don't think there'll be that many. There's enough of an impediment for voting. I would ask though, does that mean that, say there's a situation where the initial transaction is not properly created, like this one, do we have to go through the rigmarole of an entire new vote once it was passed because the transaction was malformed? Or can we just say, well, we know that passed, we're just going to create our own block producer only transaction because we technically have the power to do that anyway? What's the feeling on that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the multi-sig I'm talking about is if you look at the DAO and you look at the status of the proposals, it'll be when they passed or failed, whether or not they get completed is one thing. And then actually some of those will require special code updates or some other things that could come out of them. So then that stuff would be where we can get malformed. But no, I think we have a responsibility to just push it forward, even if that DAO does not have the ability as of right now is to do anything besides pay from the treasury. That's it.
Right.
So I want to make sure we're clear. So when a DAO vote occurs and it passes, if it's a release of funds from the treasury, that will happen without a multi-sig. But any other action?
No, that's not right. Nope.
That's not right.
Even spending from the treasury still requires a multi-sig.
Yeah, everything takes a multi-sig.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
So then that raises to me that raises the question. So if we know that if it's malformed because it's not in alphabetical order, and it's going to fail, do we go ahead and do it and then approve it, go through the rigmarole of that, and then only to have it fail, or do we just propose a new, or we reject that and propose a new one and that will actually do what was required? Or do we say, well, it failed, so now we have to go through the whole process of a new proposal? I think that in cases like this, we should say, well, there's an error, but we know what people wanted, and so we should just go through and make a BP, have just the BPs make this anyway, since that's always part of the process. I just think it's unnecessary to have to do a whole new vote just because there was an error in the creation of it.
Well,
however, if we do that, then that will set a precedent that we don't. The people are very careful about how they do their proposals, I suppose, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Right. The one that's open right now, though, the DAO Perm 2, is just setting the permissions on the DAO system contract. This is not related to any given DAO proposal today. So this is the one that we're talking about at the moment.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. It's just a DAO permissions thing, but I don't know if we know it's going to fail, honestly. I think it might even pass. It might even work. But there could be some other reason it fails, like the way the authorizations are written or whatever with the EOS IO wrap.
I mean, there's enough folks on the call here that haven't signed that we can do this right now and execute it.
Great. That'd be amazing.
So if you're on the pending list here and you're on the call, sign it. Let's see if we can get this one cleared out. If it doesn't, we can resubmit it with a different format.
Yeah, it'd be amazing to get that thing through.
Because this is the only one that's outstanding right now. So do we need to then, there were additional DAO proposals that passed here. Have we released funds? I don't remember doing multi-sigs for these.
Nope.
Okay. So
that's why it's step one. We have to, I can't even prep a multi-sig for those until the permissions are fixed, really.
Got it. Okay. Okay. I understand.
So
Let's start quick. Which ones need to be? Which ones still need to be signed? Am I outstanding on signing anything?
You are. Yeah. It's
Can someone
down
put
It's in the chat. The link's in the chat.
in the chat here?
Yeah. 8:22 a.m. Pacific.
You mean the chat for this call?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, it's Good Block, Crypto Lions, Zuzu, Zenhash, Libre MT, Libre Tech, DraperX, EOS USA, Helios Blocks, and Sweden. Any 4 of those would get this to pass right now. Any 3 of those.
we really still need 2 more.
3. We need 3 more. There's one signature that's not in the active producer list.
Mm-hmm. That's so annoying in this view.
Yeah. Okay. Well, while we're waiting on that piece, let's keep moving on the rest of the agenda. So the Libra Mint. So once this contract update is done with permissions, then we can move on to all the multisigs for distribution. There's this outstanding conversation around minting the 100 million Libra. I know there's been a lot of going back and forth in regards to that. Where do we stand? It looks like the proposal is passing at this point by a fairly large margin. You're muted again, Ben. No.
I'm not saying, I wasn't even saying anything.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the first step is to fix the DAO permissions so that we know the permissions are good in the DAO and that it can execute the proposals that are there. One of them will send a payment. One of them will just go to completed state, and then we can have another multi-sig for the issuance from ESIO prods.
Okay.
They're chicken.
Yeah, sorry. They're out. They're finally laying again. That's the noise they make when they're laying. I'll mute. All right. And then the last item on our list, I think, is the Libre and Ordinals. Anything to talk about with that?
Well, just that we basically updated the Libre homepage yesterday. And so there's a new homepage. You can see at libre.org. And, Libre, what we conceived of initially was something for scaling Bitcoin. And so we're kind of going back to that story here on the homepage. And there's 2 big buttons at the top. Nothing else really changed except for the color. So now we have this ordinals concept, which is very exciting because these ordinals are completely taking off. They're kind of like NFTs, but different because they are really permanent data storage using Bitcoin opcodes. And I've shared some resources so people can learn more about them if you don't know. But this domain aspect is the thing that we think is really good to focus on right now and get something live. And so we should have a new site up any day where you can search and register. And we think it's going to attract a lot of people, a lot of attention to this. We also updated the numbers to the in the middle of that page. Yeah, those have been updated. The node count is something we get from the from the Antelope dashboard. I don't know where they count the nodes from. I think it's the total number of nodes, like individual nodes reported in BP JSONs, maybe.
Yeah, so P2P API as well as block production.
Yeah.
Yeah, not counting just BP nodes, and certainly not just active BP nodes.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Nobody understands what those mean anyway.
I would definitely say by the next meeting, we're going to be all about ordinals. That's kind of my gut feel. We've got a lot of new stuff that's rolling out in terms of registering ordinals, a secondary market for ordinals, ordinals and domains, how they're connected. So we've got an enormous amount of stuff that's happening very quickly. And so I think the narrative around Libre and also from the BP's perspective, there's going to be this issue of multi-sig and sort of replacing some of the P network functionality. The P network, unfortunately, does not deal with Taproot Bitcoin. And so we are going to have to hold some of these ordinals in a multi-sig. And eventually we would like to move that multi-sig to a BPs or a subset of the BPs with key rotation. So that whole process, which we sort of put off for a long time, may be coming back a little bit as we kind of roll out this thing further. So to be continued, but expect to see a lot of changes in Libre. This is not just vaporware. We're really moving very heavily on this area.
Do you have a technical spec or anything around how we're actually going to be addressing ordinals? Like what's our route to writing and transferring and things like that? Ordinals.
Yeah, good question. Well, ordinals only live on Bitcoin. So
no, I've used ordinals. I understand it very well. I'm trying to understand what the Libre approach to ordinals are, and what's our value add, and
so they
whatnot.
only live on Bitcoin, and the way that we're currently thinking about it is that we will have the ordinals stored in a sort of multi-sig vault, and we'll do some multi-sig to start off that's smaller, like a 3 out of 5 validator multi-sig, where people will run a Bitcoin wallet and partially signed Bitcoin transactions that we transmit across Libre. So the nodes will communicate using Libre, and there'll be active BPs, active validators will sign these transactions whenever someone wants to send an ordinal that they own to another Bitcoin address that's outside of Libre.
We're also talking, Doug, about in this very same idea of we have a Libre vault that's on mobile right now. It's not on web, but it's on mobile, where basically you have the same seed phrase of Libre that is used for to store your Bitcoin natively on Bitcoin blockchain. And we plan to do something similar to that for a Taproot address. So you'll be able to move your ordinals between your vault, which you have the keys to, and you can access on both web and mobile, and Libre ordinals that are held by Libre and can be moved using the Libre blockchain and can be bid on or have bids or offers based on Libre. So there will be communication between both of those.
Okay. I mean, the concept of using the same BIP38 seed phrase, it totally makes sense. I'm wondering though, why? So I guess I'd like to understand why we need BPs to vote on transfers. Shouldn't we be doing some kind of smart contract control of that. We don't want to. Does it help to us to add?
There'll definitely have to be a smart contract for that. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to add human. Us have even just 3 having to. It's just going to slow us down.
There's not
It'd
going to
be
be
a
a human. It won't be a human. It'll be software, but it's beyond a smart contract. It will require some software to be run on the nodes.
Yeah, I guess I mean, there's a few ways to do this, and if you guys have a like a schematic or some kind of specification, or just let us kind of know, let us know what the way that's being architected. I'd appreciate that and make it a little easier for me to visualize, and probably others as well.
Still evolving, Doug. It's literally evolving by the day, but it's not just an architecture. Right now we have this stuff working, and we have it kind of creating, and hopefully within 2 days it'll be live. So
I can show you kind of
Yeah.
I can show you where things are at right now. So
It'd be interesting. I mean, hey, I'm on vacation for another week, so no, so I'm not promising I'm looking at anything, but I'm interested in it when you guys are ready to share it, and yeah,
this is what we
I
have.
think it's.
This is what we have
I think
working right now. Is this search? You
Frankly,
can go and search touch.sats, see it was registered all over the place. But you can search another one, and then you would connect your wallet, and you'd be able to purchase this. And then after you purchase it, it would go into your wallet on Libre, and that would be tracked who owns what on a smart contract, for example. So you can transfer someone else. That's a smart contract update. It stays in the same Bitcoin address until it's going to be taken out, and then to approve it being taken out, you'd have to be the owner in that smart contract. So that's generally the idea.
yeah. Okay.
And then we would just partially sign Bitcoin transactions that get transmitted through that same smart contract, probably in some kind of trace action, so that someone else can pick it up, sign it, and then rebroadcast it.
Do you have a yeah, if you have this working thing, it might be really interesting to check it out and see the direction you're going.
Well, as soon as we have something working, you guys will be the first to know and to try it out.
Great.
And we'll go into some
I'm
testing.
spoiled. I usually get to see things as they're going along the way in development. So I'm just an
We're just
impatient
moving so fast right now because we think that time is really critical to finish this thing up and get it.
I totally agree. I completely support it. I totally agree. My interest is only as a with the hope that perhaps I could be of some help. But I'll just I'll look forward to seeing it when you guys can share it.
Cool. Great. We're excited to show.
We began working on a contract yesterday that tracks which accounts own Bitcoin ordinals, and basically contains a table that has the inscription number, the owner, Bitcoin address, and you can add, remove, change an owner. So it's a very simple contract. It's going to track on Libre the different accounts that have the ordinals, and we began yesterday. We still have to test this and include more validations in the code, but we've got an initial code base for that. And eventually we'll also want to have some sort of a marketplace for ordinals, so you can place a bid and purchase them, and kind of have a secondary market for this. But we haven't really begun on that yet.
What are the key improvements that we offer for people using the Libre ordinal system over native Bitcoin One?
I'll tell you, Doug. So I've done some testing and stuff, and I can tell you exactly the benefits. So if you buy, for instance, look at the process of buying an ordinal on something like Ordinals Market. Okay, you have to first of all send Bitcoin, It takes 10 minutes to get to Ordinals Market and to even buy an ordinal, and then it takes another 10 minutes to confirm the ordinal. And if it's a bid and the bid's not accepted, it takes another 10 minutes for your money to get back. So it's really not good right now. The user experience on Ordinals Market is horrible. It is not oriented at all at domains. It's really just monkey pictures. So there's a tremendous amount of stuff that can be dramatically improved when you tack on a fast chain like EOS, ESIO, or Solana or anything else, and you also have this sort of Bitcoin interface, right? So that you're paying with Bitcoin for a ordinal, right? There have been examples of using MetaMask and paying for ordinals with Ethereum. So the ordinalsmarket.com uses that approach. Not a great approach, high gas fees, still waiting time, etc. So there's advantages in terms of user experience that are tremendous, we believe. There's advantages in terms of a domain focus that are huge. And then also, we think that we can even change the ordinal structure, the whole structure of ordinals, to allow for specifying DNS directly on Bitcoin blockchain, and really creating an alternative name system on Bitcoin. So we think there's just a tremendous amount of stuff that we can do, where the combination of Libre blockchain, wrap Bitcoin, all that can really all come together, and really the perfect application for Libre. So we're very, very excited. It's not one thing.
I am too. Oh, go ahead. Oh, so I was going to say, so it seems, so ultimately the ordinal still has to be written on the Bitcoin blockchain, but it can't, for the initial writing, the payment and everything could be sped up by 10 minutes or more by having the transactions happen on Libre, right? And also you could do it using
They're written on
USDT.
Libre. They have to be written on Bitcoin immediately.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they ultimately have to be written on Bitcoin. They only count if they were the first ones written on Bitcoin, right? But the payment for somebody to say, if I go in and I say, hey, I want to buy these 5 names, the payment to do that could be done on Libra much faster, because it saves you at least one Bitcoin transaction cycle, right?
Yeah. Yes. First of all, yes. Yes, the payment is faster. Also,
and then we can also do it on USDT. We could pay in USDT as opposed to, because why not, right? We can just do that behind the scenes for people. That might be an additional benefit that we could offer people who
you can pay with
maybe aren't coming.
Eventually.
Say again.
You could also even pay with Libre, right? So
yeah, you could pay with Libre. You could pay with any of the coins built into the system. For most people, I don't think that would be much of an advantage. Would see that the same way as it'd be something else they'd have to get, right? But for some people it will be.
Well,
but for most people,
really, the key is not to the primary market. Really, the key is the secondary market, right? So the key is, okay, I need to buy horn.sats. Oh, but Fred registered horn.sats. Well, I
already have that. Well, I'm not selling it.
Okay. But so anyways, so the idea of, registering, telos.sats or something and buying it.
I have that too.
Okay, good. But the ability to sell, dogfood.sats on Libre, okay, in a very, very efficient way. Right now, there's no good way to sell. If you did buy dogfood.sats, there's no good way to sell it. There's no good way to bid on it. There's the market for names on secondary names on ordinals is not there. Also, the ability to associate an IPFS address or a canonical name or any kind of way to do anything with that domain is not there, right? So I would say the whole sort of domain name infrastructure, right? Building that, moving that to Libre is such an enormous opportunity. So I view that everything else out there is just very embryonic. I don't think that the correct way to do these things is by sending Bitcoin back and forth. It's too clunky. It's too slow. It doesn't work. The value of Bitcoin is really that the fact that these things are on Bitcoin, and kind of like that name that we put, like it's on Bitcoin forever, right? So that's so appealing. And so I think I think that's kind of where we're focused, is really on the secondary market. So we see a lot of things that this thing could be very useful for, and the fact that we have this sort of Bitcoin in and out with these PBTC and stuff is very useful. So, anyways, that's kind of where we're headed right now. We'll see where it goes.
Okay. Any other items? Anything people brought to the meeting that wasn't on the agenda? Alrighty.
One thing maybe before we close up, we've been exploring with the Open Block Explorer for Libre testnet, which is something Douglas had suggested, and just initial stages of exploration. But just toss a link in the chat, and we'll still have to do some work around the branding and stuff. But yeah, we're working on adding a new block explorer and exploring what that Open Block Explorer looks like. And currently just working on testnet, but eventually, if you guys find it useful, let us know, and we'll migrate it to mainnet as well. Just looking for feedback or any ideas you guys might have. Thank you.
Yeah, I do like the Open Block Explorer. It's pretty slick.
Hey, Robert, where are we at on the 4 votes per?
It's tabled for a while. We've got other things that are currently on the on the agenda. What's required in the system contract, Xavier, Ben, in order to enable that?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I think that the number of validators you choose is the only thing that needs to be changed, because it's already a vector. So when you actually make a vote, it is a vector, so it can take more than one entry. So I don't think it's fires that much.
Mm-hmm. I remember we checked that right before mainnet, because it wasn't a vector before, I remember. So it was conflicting with how Clio voted.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, even if it's just one user vector, and now we just need to change the number. So it should be pretty easy.
Yeah, I'm currently of the mind that we shouldn't change it, but that's something we can talk about next time.
What a question. And it's something that the community has been asking a lot. They keep asking, like, exchanges. Do we have anything about exchanges? Has it been touched or anything like that? I wrote on the group chat a while back that I spoke with the currently is top 21 exchange. I don't know who's taking care of this or what's happening with this, but I think it would be a good idea as we start to introduce this ordinals to find like an easy way for people to be able to purchase Libre. I think that with the ordinals we can have a lot of organic growth, and well, we need places where people can essentially buy Libre in an easy way.
Completely agree. Yeah.
In the meantime, they can buy Bitcoin and bring it in from any exchange, and they can swap it. I know it's an extra step, but there is a path.
There is a path. It works, and now we have the CoinGecko listing that's live. I'm sure everyone's seen it by now. That's great.
Alrighty. Anything else?
I didn't get the screen when I had to ask for your Bitcoin address live when using Anchor. So the swap function, I couldn't swap for Libre.
Make sure you're using the active key on your account. The dashboard seems to be hard coded to use active, regardless of what you log in with.
Okay. No, I never use my owner keys, so it should be good. But
Okay.
the Bitcoin address is not copyable.
If you have any bugs there, let us know. I wasn't aware of that bug, so any dashboard bugs we can absolutely fix.
Okay, well, this is one.
Okay, great. I don't understand it, but send us a message about it. It'd be great to learn more.
I will.
Cool.
All right. Anything else? Alrighty, folks. Thanks. Well, next meeting will be at 2300 UTC on the third Thursday of next month.
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.